I want to make the most of our time this morning, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome for those online and those here in person. We're going to do some introduction activities around younger kids, getting them into coding. But I think a lot of this also is for any age group who's interested in coding and robotics, but you haven't explored it yet. So just to look at some of the opportunities that are out there. So I do want to do an introduction activity and then I'll explain the order of our sequence today. I thought of our sequence and about the work we've done, especially with Head Start kids. And it's been really important for them to think about how they have to communicate movement, especially your movement. And how when we go from the parking lot to our classroom, there's lots of movements that we're doing that come together in a sequence that help us go from one place to another. So I'm glad that we have a mix here of adults and some children so we can all engage together. So I was just explaining some of the parts of just our movement in our bodies and how they move, because little children are exploring that idea. And we call it like their spatial awareness, how they move. So if we think about an infant and how they sit up, and then how they start crawling, and how they start walking, all of that is the ways that they're moving their body through space. So we're going to think about today how we're going to move from a starting line to a finishing line, okay? And how our body's going to move through that space. Now we can move from one space to the other in a lot of different ways. We can walk there, we can run there, we can hop, we can skip. There's all these ways that we find out our body can move. And that's like one of the reasons that sports is so interesting and exciting, is because we see when we really concentrate and focus on a skill, how great we can be at something that's very athletic, very physical. So here in the AIM Center, I put some painter's tape on the floor, and I put a starting line and a finishing line. And there's 3 different sections, okay? So why don't we go ahead and go to one of those sections? They're gonna be small groups, so hopefully there's a few at each section. And then I'm gonna give you instructions for how to move from the starting line to the finishing line. Okay, go ahead and look first. Okay. All right, so go ahead and decide. You probably already decided by where you're standing is that's gonna be your start line, okay? And I want you to take turns, so everybody gets a turn, walking in your normal steps from one line to another line and counting how many steps you take to get across to the other line, okay? So I'll give everybody some time to do it.
One step.
All right, so if you haven't yet, go ahead and share the numbers that you got between yourselves. And if they're different, talk about why they're different, why you think they're different numbers.
That's fine. There's 6. Because if you could do.
I have them, sorry.
Fine.
No, I did 5. You did 5. I think I have a pet by my step today. I was like,
Usually I walk a little bit faster.
yeah, usually I walk
So
slower.
maybe you want to step it slow?
Yeah, maybe I just did
The
2
distance?
Oh, yeah, bigger steps.
Uh-huh,
smaller steps.
So I hear some of the conversation and some people are just saying, well, some people take bigger steps naturally, right? Sometimes it depends on our heights, right? And sometimes even because we're paying attention to our steps, maybe it's a little different, right? So there's all these different things that happen when we're just taking a step. All right, so let's go ahead and think about if you were going to walk the line backwards. Do you think you'd have the same amount of steps or different?
Different.
Okay, so go ahead and start at your line and walk all the way backwards. Be careful, don't fall. Count your steps.
Wow. Yes. Ready?
Seven.
Costs.
Think you slow down a bit.
You think?
Five. Six.
So did anybody have the same exact amount of steps when you walk backwards, like the same? So was it different? Was it more or was it less?
More.
More? A lot of people have more. Why do you guys think it's more when we walk backwards?
I think we have to just be careful in small steps.
You're taking smaller steps, you're more careful. It's not the normal way we move in our environment, is it? Walking backwards. Our body can do that though, but we don't necessarily, I'm gonna go to that door and walk backwards. All right, let's do something else. Let's see how many steps it takes from one line to another when you're trying to take your biggest steps. Okay, but before you do it, try to predict how many you can do it in. Try to predict it.
Oh, sorry. How many?
I think 3 too.
Maria, how many?
4.
Four?
It was like 3.5.
Three? Oh, 3.5, got it.
All right, so how many, did we get, anybody who had 4? We have 4, anybody have less than 4?
3.
You have 3? You guys have 3? Okay, so we have 3, 4, what were our other numbers?
Here was 3.5.
3.5, a little bit more. All right, so sometimes when we move, we can move intentionally, right? So when we started off, we just said your normal steps, but it can be less steps if I intentionally take really big steps, right? All right, so we're gonna do one last thing. And this is a little bit more complex. So you're gonna go from one line to the other and then return to your starting point, right? There's at least 2 ways you can do it. You can go forward. When you get to the finish line, you can what? Turn, right? And then you can walk the rest of the steps. We probably know about how many total steps you'll take, right? Because based on what you've just done. There's another way you could do it. You could walk all the way to the end of the line, and then what could you do? Walk backwards, back to the other line. Okay, so I'm gonna let you decide what you're going to do, okay? And think about how many steps you're gonna have to take in total. Well, thinking about if you're doing forward or backwards or just 2 forwards. Okay,
Like 12.
right, try to make the prediction before you do it,
Maybe 13.
right? Go ahead, let's see.
Yeah.
Come back.
And then you go back.
Then come back.
10, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a 10.
Maria, go.
Wait, I predict
Normal.
I predict time.
9.
Mm-hmm.
How many did you want?
Look like a house.
Like 9.5, 10?
I'll say 8.
All right, so the more we move in our body, and especially if we're really paying attention to the steps, usually the better we get at predicting something. And we can predict how many it will take, because we get more of a self-awareness of what that is. All right, we're gonna do one more thing that's a little different. So I want you to pick someone who's going to be the programmer. You guys have to just decide. Just give me a- So who's gonna be the programmer in your group? And then someone's gonna be the robot. Need one robot and one programmer. All right, robot, you're gonna start at the starting line. All right, and the programmer is gonna tell you how to move from the line across to the other line. And programmer, you're open to say whatever you want. You're gonna give the amount of steps, the kind of steps, the turns. You're the programmer and the robot has to do exactly what you say. Okay? All right. Go ahead.
Step 1, and then cross it over, step again.
Like this?
And do it again with this foot bigger. And that foot bigger. And then hop on the line.
So wait, put that foot there. The foot on the line. And then hop.
Giants.
Are we going back?
Mhm.
Okay. Go back there. Come
Want to tell me what to do?
You put your foot
You tell me.
out
You listen to.
and then put your left foot.
All right, if you finish early, why don't you go ahead and trade?
And then right foot.
Trade
Above that
balls.
foot. Side foot and then left foot. Right foot. Left. We're just walking around.
Yeah.
Okay. Wanna switch? Yeah. Wanna try? No, you can switch. Okay, everybody do. No hopping. I know, Okay. Step with your right foot, but to the left. Cross? Yeah. Okay, now step with your left foot to the right. Okay, now you can just walk again, another step, just regular. And then take a big, big step. And then take a bigger step. And then you can continue normally. Left, right.
Stay turned.
All right, so that gives us a little bit idea of the role of a programmer and a robot. And communication is key. When you describe a movement, the robot needs to know what that means, right? So we talked about walking forward and backwards when we talk about big step or a little step. We have to assume or understand that that robot understands that word the way we understand that word, right? And we could be more complicated. We could say left and right. But if the robot doesn't remember what's left or right, then they won't be able to move that way, right? So especially with little kids, they're kind of discovering or connecting different words in their vocabulary to how it connects to the way that we assign meaning to that word, right? All right, let's all come back to the main table here. And I'll explain the rest of the components that we're gonna do today, where we've just done the first component. And thank you for participating in that. So we've done some embodied work. We're thinking about the individual actions that make a complete movement. And this is really important because a computer or a robot takes all of those parts very precisely and very distinctly. So if I said, go out to my car and bring me something that I left inside, I don't necessarily have to tell you all the way. Those say, oh, go 5 steps and go this way and then turn right, right? If you know where I parked and I give you my key, you pretty much can figure out how to do that, right? But robots and computers need us to tell them exactly what to do. That means that when we say turn, the robot's waiting for you to say, well, what kind of turn? How many degrees, right? And in our mind, we start putting all of those together to make movements, to make something that we do, maybe that we always do. So it's really important that we embody some of those things that help us break apart our movements so we can start thinking like a robot thinks, so we can communicate with it better. The next part is spatial. So we use, when we communicate, especially when you're younger, we use gestures. Like everybody sit down, right? And we move our hands, right? Or everybody stand up, right? We tend to use gestures to help us communicate what we're trying to say. Directional vocabulary. So we just used a lot of it, like walking backwards and walking forwards and big steps and small steps. When we tell kids to turn and they don't necessarily know right or left yet, we might say, okay, everybody turn to the orange wall, right? And they're all turning and they know maybe their colors by then, but we're helping them just with the vocabulary. But spatial is also about visualizing. And we're going to get to do that, especially when we move to the robots, because we have to visualize, okay, this is how I want the robot to move. So how do I tell it the steps to get there? And we have to kind of imagine it. And kids are great at their imagination, and we really want to enhance that idea of how they just can go and can see something in their head is so important. And what we're going to do today is called deviceless or screenless coding. So there's a lot of recommendations on especially younger kids being on devices for too long or screens too long. So I wanted to just open up our minds to kids can still do coding with technology, but it can look different. We can still get them off the screen to do it. Now, there are a lot of opportunities to be on devices like tablets and our phones and to control robots, but there's also other ways too, so we can have a nice balance. And another way that we can use coding is through changing the environment. So that's what we're gonna do next. So we have these little, well, they're robots, but these robots, they have a way of moving, and they're called hex bugs. And they just vibrate. I can feel it in my hand when I turn it on, it just vibrates. And when I put it on a nice smooth surface, that vibration helps it to move forward. It was engineered to just move forward. So this robot, if I talk to it, it doesn't understand what I'm saying. So in order for this robot to move where I want it to go, I have to change the environment that it's moving in. Because when it hits something that it can't move, it moves around, it turns. So we have some Legos on the table, and I'm going to have you just make some mazes for your bugs. You can start off with a really small, maybe containment, a little fence, maybe a little square, and see how it hits the wall and moves. And then maybe once you work with a partner or work together, make the maze a little bigger. Can you make it have a little running track? Can you make it go from one starting point to the other starting point? Remember, that's exactly what we did with our bodies. But we know that this robot only moves in one way. It moves forward and it vibrates. And you're going to experiment, okay, so when it hits a Lego wall, how does it go? How does it bounce back and start moving? If you want it to move right, well, what do you have to do to get it to turn right? If you want it to turn left, what do you have to do to the environment to make it turn left? Okay, so I'm going to give us some time to work on our mazes. I'm going to give everybody a hex bug. And it's going to be trial and error. So you're just going to try it If it doesn't work, change your maze and try something different. You can go bigger, you can go small. You can work together. And if you want to turn it on, so you can just see how it moves across the table, you can use. We can see the mark.
I want for permission. Yeah, I think it's supposed to be. And I think it's because of this. La idea, ya para dar vueltas.
We can see
No, no, no.
So we're gonna bring some of this paint in, if you want to use it to hold down the Lego or you want to. So we can go get it and we'll just put that there. And they're getting this in place.
Oh, yeah. So what is Negro? Yes. I think that one.
But we want to use some tape to see.
Thank you. No, because we would like to do it. The one. Whatever. I think I found. No, because you always sorry get the person. Oh, you have some. They have some.
Yes, we do.
You guys need some more, literature?
Sorry. So sorry. Can we use? We use how we should.
I'm a stan.
You're not supposed to skate. We have black belts.
What is a big one in here? No. I'm looking my shop. I get that time. I don't get that. This one?
Vamos a cerrarlo. Vamos a cerrarlo. En cuenta.
Yes, this morning. Today is the 14th. So this is really. She's working on her master's. So she's helping. So she's there all morning, actually all day, she was there all day. And my youngest, I'm not. So my. And then my oldest, in high school this afternoon. Starting to play Tuesday. So they've got some moves and all this stuff happening. It's just busy, yeah. Most of the time, you know, in. It's a little bit of lost. A lot more challenging to get there because they're doing so much work on the floor. Everything between Kingsburg and Selma, they're just taking turns like moving traffic back and forth, like the enough lanes over here, so they make all the traffic.
Oh my
It's been years now, it's ridiculous. So my wife and I yesterday. Yeah. It can be, So we were driving yesterday and it was the worst. It was slow all the way back. all the way up to 7:30. Like everything was slow. And it was like 3:30. It wasn't even. I don't know why everybody was driving like this. It's pretty slow.
I will just avoid. I put it on the maps and I put like avoid. I'm going. And you can say I will go, but I've never gone.
Oh, really? This one. This one. All right. I think. Oh, my God. This height. I think it's not. It's not working now. Yeah.
I know.
No,
It's very near.
I've not seen the other ones.
Well, if you notice about me, like,
My little friends, they don't. They have their happy time,
It's a big
but
one.
like,
Okay.
they have so lots of.
Lady.
Those things make me like.
See, the license.
They probably did. Oh, yeah.
I don't even have to. Do you know?
Now I gotta put all these little parts together. They look so pretty, but then I agree with this weekly, I was like, yes, put those tiny little parts together and together.
You might.
Now we are entertained.
Mira, sí, ahí no era. No sé, depende de la persona. Mira la diferencia. Mira, María, yo no sé nunca ver. Oh my God. You're the corner working on typing. Pero sí, hermano. Mira. Yes, Juan. Wow, como Smart.
Want to do it, a big music.
A ver, No, I did it before.
It's too lax. It's too.
You ready to go? No,
No, better for everybody walking. All right, we're gonna take a few more minutes and talk about our activity. Also, if your bug wants to visit someone else's maze, maybe you can take it to someone else's maze. I love the way, yeah, some people have connected their mazes, made bigger mazes. We'll take a few more minutes.
So this way to go free.
Yeah.
I spin it around. What is like? I have my hand there. They can make
That's better, it's something a little different.
No one is.
I know, I love them.
See,
That's like because there's plenty. I'm impressed, like, floating around. It's like. So she's giving.
Here, there's an opening right here for these people. Yeah. I think it's. There's a purple one. There's purple. He disappeared.
Now they need to go.
Print inside?
Yeah.
That sounds good.
I'm gonna put yours in there, we'll take it out when you're ready to go. Yours is ready.
María, yours is what you say, so yours.
Wanna put yours in there? Yeah. It's our friend here, see? It's going crazy.
Oh, my, upside down.
Oh my God, why is it, I see pregnant.
Under the bridge.
Who's in the back?
Yay!
Oh my God, you're so.
No,
They put that for themselves.
they're all just coming to this area.
Now, when it's a bigger one, they have.
Oh, because I find that is this space. Imagine the floor with all the.
I think that's
Like a
just
really
down
big-
here last.
Maybe in that floor, you think of the.
No, like on the hard floor.
Oh.
Yeah, that's where she went last week.
Maybe the rest of space.
Uh-oh, look
More
at
space. You can say I'm tired. Yes. Good job. Oh.
What happened there?
Oh, that's
Wait,
no.
It's nice and flat. These bumps are kind of mini.
Oh, yeah. Mine is.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what you want.
Oh, yeah.
helps them out.
All right, we're gonna transition to our next activity, so if we could all find a seat around this table. I know we have a lot more people now.
I'll do my first.
It's okay if you want to stand around the table. All right, so let's think about some of the programming that we did today. So I noticed that we started out with smaller mazes and you were kind of getting used to how the robot moves, right? In programming, we talk about debugging. That means when something doesn't go the way we want it to go, or there's still something we think we can fix to make it better, we change something in the code to get closer to what we want it to look like. In this case, you were just adding blocks, changing blocks. It's interesting that when we use Legos, we have to have them stacked in a certain way to kind of lock them in to make them more stable, right? So that's one of the things that I saw changing over time. People started locking their blocks in different ways. You can use really any blocks. You can use wooden blocks. You can actually use paper, cardstock, bend it up and make some loops for the hex bugs to move around. There's so many different ways we could program the hex bugs. I like the way that people were talking about how you were seeing the different hex bugs move. So if you look at the hex bugs, it looks like the design has changed over time, or maybe they're just different kind of sets. There's some sets of hex bugs that have 5 of those little rubbery legs on each side. And then there's some hex bugs that have a 3 in the front and then 1 in the back. So a 3 and 1. And when we were noticing how they kind of tend to move in different ways, like some of them tend to want to turn counterclockwise or clockwise, and that's just the way that it starts moving. So even with the hex bugs and using the devices, we get more familiar with the one that we're using to create the environment that we want it to move in, right? And also observation really is a key piece in here, because naturally you're looking at your hex bug move over time and then you're changing the environment. Everybody was doing that on their own without anybody telling them what to do, right? And of course, kids love to start either racing or imagining a story, and naturally start laughing because the hex bug finds a way to escape or goes through the little tunnel or the maze or the bridge that they wanted to go to. So this is just one way to do a deviceless coding activity for kids that naturally let them problem solve by changing the environment with a device that moves in just one way, right? We're just changing the environment. So we're gonna transition to Matata, a Matata robot kit. Oh, yes.
What age appropriate is this activity?
I think that we just have to be careful with, kids who have got in their mouths, of course. But I would say like around from 2 or 3, they love to play with this. If you get like cardboard like paper rolls, these little things move really nicely through those. So if this building is a little bit too complex for a younger kid, we could get a bunch of rolls and like tape them and just have the kids put them through, or just fold them and put them through and see them come out the other side. That's a good starting point for kids that are a lot younger. But older kids love to do that too, especially if you can find the gift wrapping rolls that we use for Christmas time and save those. Those are nice and long. So you put one in and it comes out through the other way, and they're just waiting and anticipating for it to come out. So that's a lot of ways they can start seeing how the robot moves, and kids can hold it on each side and put it through and take turns seeing it come out the other end. You can do a lot of counting, so it allows for a lot of exploration. And these robots, you can buy them like in Target or Amazon. I think they come about 5 to a pack, so they're about $4 each. And they last a really long time. You can just change the battery in them, so you can buy the battery and just change them out. Yeah.
Good question, thank you.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to move into the robots and they're already set up. I'm gonna do some explanation of the little tiles that we have. And then we're gonna give you some time to explore. So go ahead and move to one of these tables and yeah, find yourself a seat.
How many parts do you
I have about 4 set up, so I think that that's about right. We'll still have room for 4. Yeah, you might have to move your chairs, because we've had to just move some chairs out. We can just leave our X plugs and stuff here.
Okay, never mind.
Let's go, this one go here.
Where's another one?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Or a lighthouse, there we go.
Okay.
Sometimes you can.
Alright, so I'm gonna explain a little bit and then I'm going to definitely let you play and explore. So if you find the lime green little tiles, you can pass one to everyone so they can see them. These have these little arrows on them. You'll also notice that they have like a little notch cut out of them. The notch tells us the right way that they set. So if we put them on our, I'm gonna grab this one. I'm gonna grab this one and make it so that I can explain a little bit.
So 3 spaces left.
So the notch will always be face down. That's the right orientation. So in this case, my arrow is pointing down. That means that the robot would move backwards, 1 space. Okay? Then you have some that have the arrow pointing up. So what do you think that's gonna make the robot do? Go forward. Yeah, go forward, 1 space. And then the other tiles that you have little dots. What do you think those do with the robot? Turn. So they'll either turn right or left, okay? So all of these tiles that are lime green have arrows and they're either forward, backward, turn right or left, okay? So everyone has a tower and a little like pad area. This is where you place the tiles with the notches down. And this robot in the tower, he reads the tiles that you put on there. So go ahead and put some tiles in the first row. And work together. So you're gonna fill up the first row with tiles. Make sure the notches are all down.
This dog has to be. Can't read.
Okay, you can stand up and move on this side.
Just turns. No, Mama, it's mine.
¿Vas a bailar this? O volar?
Going from left to right. So then I'll explain.
You can start over
Sure, you can do the different.
Can you place something
Go
close to
into
it
the
or read it like as a
right.
sequence and so.
Make sure the notches face down.
And if you were to place something down here instead of doing something directly,
Perfect.
break down and then possibly.
You can go in the first row.
Thank you.
All right, so if your first row is filled, no other tiles, just your first row. I'm gonna show you how this kit works. Are you guys almost done? That notches, these little notches are always in the
And if you set that up.
Okay, so this is the way the robot works. You fill in the tiles and this robot will read this from left to right, just like we read. And it reads the arrows And then it sends the message to our little robot with the little face. And it says, these are the instructions that the programmer has sent, right? So the way we send the message is we press this orange button, but we only press it one time. If you press it 2 times, you're telling it to start and stop, and it doesn't send the message. So press it 1 time, and then you'll hear a little sound, or you should, and then that robot will move in the same order as all of these tiles, right? So when you're ready, you can take a turn, you can take turns doing it several times, but go ahead and send the message.
Where you're gonna put it.
Somebody want
Now we know, now we can make it.
All right, need to teach you then. Okay.
All right, so let's look at these blue tiles, and you'll notice that the blue tiles have numbers on them. And I think you have one that has a little die. So these numbers can fit under the arrows that are going forward and backwards, the ones that are going up and down. It does not fit on the ones that turn, okay? On the ones that turn, we would need some other tiles that are degrees. And that gets a little bit more complicated. So you can go ahead and put some numbers. If you have tiles that go up or down, go ahead and fill it out with some numbers. And it will tell the robot to go forward and backwards that many times.
Yeah.
And then the number goes on, it does.
But it doesn't fit energy.
Also, maybe we can switch.
None of them from turns because the turn are flat. Was that number?
The green one?
Yeah, because it only fits on the.
Oh, that 5 ends.
Yes.
No, we have to. What is this one?
Oh, this one's random,
Uh.
so it randomly picks a number from 1 to 6.
Oh.
You roll the dice.
Okay.
Thank you.
When you're ready, you can run,
Wait,
your.
this one has a flat. Which
Susan never told me that one. He said it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think that's like.
So what is the dice?
All right, and the last color of dice you have are these purple ones. These are special ones. You have one that has a guy running, that's a movement one. You have a little note, that's a song, it'll play a song. And then you have a little dance one, so it'll light up and play a little dance. When you put these on, you'll notice the defaults, and then you can change it by changing the number. You put a different number, you get a different song. You put a different number, you get a different dance. So go ahead and explore what those look like.
And then. Wait, what?
The doorway. Little buddy.
Yeah, there was one that was out.
We just squared up. He wasn't leaving me, like, he was literally just like dancing in front of me.
Why was nothing that him once and now he's coming all the time?
This is too far.
Yes, you go
Not stairs.
Years ago, there was a squirrel that we would see around the house. We would see it. Like, see the same squirrel. Oh, it's funny.
They get so used to people.
It's lighting up the islands. I was gonna say, it's a dinosaur friend. One.
You want to see the different colors of the
When the G. Yeah. So there's one, right?
Continuing and you passed away. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what's that?
So it's kind of able to change.
I think I heard him after a little bit.
Oh,
you got those numbers.
Alright, so. You have to explore. Now I'm gonna give you your first challenge. I passed out some tape. And you're gonna use the tape to make a starting line and an ending line. You need to decide where it is. Just like I did on the floor, but you're gonna do it on the table. So go ahead and tape somewhere on your table a starting line and an ending line. And your challenge is gonna be to get the robot to go from the start to the finish.
That's where you're at.
Just be careful how we can put this. Straight. No, porque es gonna go.
That's great.
You know, it's. Okay, so starting. I'll fix it starting. Okay, so what do I do?
Probably not the way. I don't know, I'm gonna see so because Charlie went. And then we do it 2 times.
Number.
Yeah.
Trabaja, oh, yeah.
You don't want it to go?
So when it goes big.
Nope, you can put a tone. Let it go. Yeah. Here. Here. So you guys, that's gonna change that.
You know, we can change this.
3, 4, 5.
I needed to go.
Is it?
Go backwards. Unless you're gonna start him facing backwards.
Yeah, you want to know? It goes. Goes down. Mhm. 5 times. Okay. Yeah. I know.
You're gonna be short.
You make it down.
We went too many.
Yeah, down 5 times. I'm assuming when you're down 5 times.
That's fine. Maybe we can.
I know you want to go down the
Turning.
and then. Majority of them have like at this point. Haven't seen good things.
You turn it, that's, so when you turn it, it's like that, and then it goes back.
So it has to go.
It has to go in that.
Okay, push play, there's, you put, wait, sorry.
It's like
I get mine. What kind of one? How many times? Let's repeat the
yeah.
pattern.
So.
You can use restroom? Are you sure? Yeah, what about that?
No, you can't do it.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna use like. I'm gonna let you.
Restroom, okay?
If you go right,
Okay.
like on the other side of the, yeah, just right over there.
Oh, wait. The light trigger.
Okay.
Two more?
Okay.
Three. I found it.
Oh. Is that his face? You can also. She's not.
Because I have to get one.
Cause my.
Right, and then forward.
Backward.
I don't know.
I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
You're gonna go.
Also the sensor reads in my bag. He didn't quite make it all the way down. Good. Yeah. Yeah. You should turn it around and let it go. How do you get ready? Yay.
I'm really good. It's all fine.
Oh, maybe when it finally it bounces. Then it has to go with you.
We put music?
Yeah.
And Diana also, Diana has to be. No, no, Diana, yeah.
It's all like this, I didn't even.
It made it too far though.
guys get it?
Yeah.
No,
Should we put a number? Or is it just like that?
I can. Why?
I was trying to jump off the edge.
No. Make it quick.
Yeah, a lot of my friends still.
That's cool. We're going. It's too much. I'm not so fast.
They can do the walk. That's the dancing.
Hey, we can do one more.
Now it's the dance.
skateboard.
It's not that hard. More common. First starting here, faster, loud,
All right, let me give you the last challenge here. You guys see this little white box, and if you dump it out, you're gonna see some barriers and some flags. So we're gonna go from our green flag to either the blue or red, you can choose. But you're gonna make a little maze for your robot. And these are the little barriers you're gonna use to make a little maze, right? So try to have at least one turn that he has to make to get to the other flag, right? So he's gonna go from one flag to another flag, and you're gonna make a little maze out of these barriers. So you can make it as big or as small as you want, but just have it have one turn, at least one turn.
At least turn.
Yes.
And turn is. You're telling me to stop, I guess. I remember it's there, so we don't put it, you know.
Yeah.
I think it was one more, we would go two and add two more here.
I think so. I'll just do it.
You're gonna break it. Yeah, that sounds like.
Five, 25. So.
Okay.
Forward.
No, not yet.
Because I said it out.
Get a one turn.
I think the first time you go one turn.
Yeah.
Just turn over them. So we're.
So we like number one.
Gummy.
When you wanna work, you can put it on your system.
Okay.
No, I want blue. Choose one.
Then you remember how far we're gonna take?
Oh, I saw Beyond the Face. I was thinking like.
What about my turn? I wanna press.
Turn, but.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, first, we gotta figure out how to make it.
Turn, gonna go
But
forward.
then you know what? What if we?
No, so we have to take these guys a little bit,
Here.
and we have to remember
So
we
we
can't
have to
put
take
numbers under
down-
these guys.
Because
So maybe this is where we'll be
So.
the steps, yeah.
Maybe you can look at the-
No, we don't want to see our. Page 5 is up like right here. Well, when you go more. Like in 5 times.
Oh, you're starting here.
No. The, well, 3 times.
Everybody.
Right now, it's the, I'm gonna be paid.
No, and then stop it. Oh, it's turning right now. Oh, yeah. I would see how far it goes. Girl is 5. Yeah. Yeah, they got it. And then
3 was here, maybe one more. And es lo más mejor, más
Yeah, there's two.
Make it.
When you roll the dice, it's random.
Mama.
Okay, but we still, we're trying to figure out how much further up.
The writer down.
And we, I think we need it to do it all the time. Which, what, the opposite, yeah.
I need to sing.
You made it?
You can't put one, let's try this. At Okay, okay.
Yeah.
But it has to be facing straight.
You gotta look in his face to make sure he's straight.
So we got two, wait, no, wait. Two, left, over, like that, right? So now we need to move it.
No, no,
And
But that way, if you go back.
Oh,
Something
that
like
way?
that. Think about it. Move everything around.
How far does he go when he turns?
Three back.
Oh, after. No, three.
Actually, three. It's kind of like you just lift him.
So then we need him to turn
He's gonna go back.
right after he
Or
turns.
then you're gonna have to turn one more.
Okay.
Is that allowed? Put it back on. Just that link.
Oh,
Oh, okay. Well, this is- Or now he's forward.
No. Oh, no, it doesn't get forward.
That's why it was.
That's what it's here.
Three turns.
Right, or obstacle.
It went flat. And then, oh, yes, so you have to turn. No, turns here, they can never. So, and then
Oh, I see.
I got him.
The turn will be left.
Yeah. My turn is like.
Like this?
Rest. Rest, right.
Not quite.
I love that.
Oh, so it goes on.
They want them in 8 minutes and if you get them on.
So after this one.
Like I see something sexy.
Oh, he broke up.
Okay, Shirley, so put it back.
So like.
You gotta face straight, you want to straight.
You know what the forward?
Just leave. That phone. Turn it.
Okay, so how are you gonna start you? So you
But you gotta
Okay, fine.
That.
Yeah, what? All right. Okay.
I kind of want to.
And then forward.
Same rewind.
And then one. And then one.
I don't know.
Forward.
That's not your flag.
Yeah, we said that.
And that's.
Yes.
Is this one facing the wrong way? The other one back?
Yeah.
Because that's backwards. Then- Okay.
That.
Wow. You did it in one.
Right.
Wow.
Look at that.
Okay, what kind of number is that?
Very good. Everywhere.
Yes.
We have him down, because I think he moved a little bit down.
Copy this.
Try that.
I think it's Elise. Stop it.
Oh, at least if.
Mama, what is this?
Copy that?
Yeah, like, so this one's going up, and this one's dancing, and this one's going that way.
First, good up, basic on your.
Wait.
Esto, y para él hablar. Ridiculously.
Alright, so I'm gonna explain a little more of the kit, and then we're going to how put it away, and then we're gonna move to our last thing, which is using the iPads and doing some programming. So the kit comes with a nice, like game board. So other explorations you can do with kids is you can make up games of how to get from one place to another. This grid is already designed so that to move from a square to another square is one space. Because part of what you have to get used to is when you tell the robot to move forward, like how big is the step, right? Just like when we walked the steps on the floor, all of us had different steps, right? So we have to say, well, what's one step to the robot? When I say move forward, what does that mean? So this allows kids like to go from the mushroom to the apple, so they have to take some steps and make turns. So when they get used to how the robot moves, we can verbalize like, okay, how many steps do you think it'll take? And they can actually count the squares here. So we can use some counting. The other side lets them go from one place to another. So it's based on different environments. Like you go from the island to the mountain, right? So it can be incorporated with different units that you're doing, maybe around environments or where different animals live, things like that. It also comes with some instructional books that also gives challenges and games that already come with the robot. And I want you to also notice that you probably noticed that this little part of the robot that moves has a little face. So what kids have to get used to is orienting the start position of the robot. Because if his face is not set completely forward, and he's turned a little bit, then he's gonna start moving this way, right? So the placement of him is really important. And that's why they put a little face on it, so we know what side it should be facing and how it should orient. You can also see that this is magnet, so you can pull that off. If you pull it off, you'll notice that there's a little hole. That's because this robot can draw. So if you get like a Crayola marker, like the thin markers, you can drop it right in there, and you can like put maybe a big piece of postboard, or you can put some paper to the floor or to the table. And wherever he moves, he will now draw a line that he'll leave behind him. So you can think, for example, like you can draw a square. How kids program the robot to draw a square, right? And you would have to move forward, turn, move forward and turn, and repeat that pattern until you get to where you started, right? So there's different ways that we could just draw with the robot, explore, do some art. When we were using this with Head Start, we took this little dome off, and we got some I think we used Play-Doh at first, but then we got that sticky tack that you use to put posters up. And we put it down here and we made him a little cup. And we put little pom-poms in it. So when he was doing a game, we'd have him pick up pom-poms along the way. And we put them in the cup and we got little pom-poms. So we like pick up all the red ones and he would have to go to the red one, you put it in, he goes to the next one, put it in. So there's different ways to explore with the robot, to use your imagination. And to just make different games up or challenges for kids to use. So this is a great activity or a great kit that allows you to do that. So we're gonna go ahead and ask you to turn off the robot and the tower, because they both have a power button. And this kit comes with a cord, so you have to charge it until the little light is green, and then that means that's fully charged. So we were able to do that yesterday. Your box will go here with all your flags and your barriers. And then your tiles will fit inside here, the numbers and all the motion tiles. And then you'll place your board right on top of that. All right, so I'm gonna share on the screen, my app open on my device. And then we'll go through the different components together. Then I'll let you explore, and then I'll let you choose the challenge card, okay? So when you open Scratch Junior, you should see this screen. And once you see this screen, you're gonna press on the little house button. And then that will show you this. It might not look exactly like mine because you might not have a project there, or you might have a project there. But just don't click on anything. We're gonna click on the plus sign because we're gonna have a brand new project. Okay?
Wait, what?
So I know that some of us are doing this for the first time. So if you have any questions or you need me to slow down or say something else that I already passed, please just stop me or put it in the chat. I'll be happy to do that. So first, I'm gonna just explain what the different areas are and the different pieces that we have. So let's look at the bottom where we see this little cat and he looks like kind of black and white, like see-through. You'll notice that above him are colored tiles. That's interesting. It kind of reminds us of Matata Lab, what we just did, right? It's a virtual though. And you'll notice that the blue one is kind of clicked in and the other ones are popped out still. The blue one are the motion tiles and they look familiar too. We have an arrow that's pointing right and one that's pointing left. And then we have these two that are pointing up and down. And then we have these two that kind of look like a little curve. What do you think those mean? Turning, yeah, we have turning. And then we have these other ones. Interesting. So if we want to make our cat that's on this square that's in color move, we click on a tile and we slide it down. That space at the bottom is like our workspace. It's where we're laying our tiles. Remember on the board when we were laying our tiles so that the tower could read it? This is where we lay our tiles. And we have little numbers that are already set. So it would go one time in this direction. Okay? And you can see that on the other side of the tile is a little notch. It's already ready to click to another tile to connect. Okay? If you look over here at the yellow tiles and you click on it, you'll see your menu changes to all the yellow ones. So the one that we usually start with is the one with the green flag. That kind of means go. So if we grab the green flag and we slide it down, we can connect it in the beginning to the blue one because the green flag tells us to go. And that's usually where we start a program with. So if we go all the way to the top, we will see a green flag up here. And when we click it, it tells the program to run. So go ahead and tell it to run. And you'll see that your cat moved just a little bit. You just saw the cat move one step. That's the definition of one step to the cat. If we click on the arrow again, he will move one step again. Right? So we can change the number of steps that we want him to move. So let's explore just a few of these other ones. So we have one that says communication. So that's the purple one. If we click on the green ones, that's sound. If you wanted to make a sound, we can even record a sound. So we can get custom sounds here. And the orange one has to do a lot with timing. So if you wanted to do something and then wait a little while and then go to the next thing, we can tell it to stop or to pause. And here is where we have things happening over and over again. So this last orange one talks about loops. When you wanted to follow the same thing like 3 more times, you don't have to make the whole thing. You can just put it in one little caption and then say, repeat this 3 times. And then our red one, of course, tells us to stop or to repeat the whole thing again. All right, so that is all of the tiles that we have in this program. So let's go to the artistic part, the fun part that lets us kind of make a story. So over here at the top, you'll see a little picture that looks like a green space with the sky. Go ahead and click that. And you should see a library of all the different backgrounds that you can have. You can have your cat in a city, in a library, in a bedroom, at a basketball court, in the forest. Go ahead and choose one. Maybe I'm going to beach. And so when you choose one, it'll highlight it, and then at the top, you'll click on the check mark. And then when you go back to your screen, your cat will be at that place. My cat's at the basketball, because finals are starting in the NBA. All right, so my cat is there in the basketball background. And I could program him to do different things. Move around on the court, go sit on the seat, make some sounds. And whatever I put here, that's what he's gonna do in this background. But I also can make my cat have friends. So if you look over here at the plus sign under the cat, and you click on it, you can change your character or you can add some friends. There's all different kinds of friends. There's animals, there's aliens, there's people, there's plants, stars and moons and different buildings. There's a basketball. So if I pick something and I click the check mark, it'll add it to my face. So now my cat has a basketball. So now you can write a program for the basketball, in my case, and the cat. If you add something and then you decide you don't want it, you can just take it away. So if I didn't want this basketball, I could just remove it. Oops.
How do you get to that?
Oh, you just click on the plus sign. And you'll notice that when you click on a character or an object that you picked, the bottom part changes. So whatever program you write underneath just goes to that one character. Okay? But when you press go, it'll run both programs at the same time. So you can start with one character, you can start with 2 characters. So I'm gonna give you just a little time to explore the different things. Try something, see what happens. use a different background, use different people, make an ocean theme. I'm just gonna let you explore for a while, and then we're gonna pass out some challenge cards. If you have any questions, you could just raise your hand, and we'll come around and help you. Oh, yeah.
How do you get rid of this?
So if you want to get rid of a character, you just hold down and press on that, and then a little X sign will come up, and then you can click out of it. Right? So if you want to add a character and then take away a character, just go ahead and just click on it, hold down, and then that X will come out. You guys are changing.
Can you say that?
So some people are discovering the custom option. So if you add a character, but you want to change it, so say if I have two cats that I want on the screen, but I want one of them black and one of them orange, you just click on the paintbrush. And the paintbrush will bring you to the customization, so you can customize that character that was already in the library. So some of the kids are exploring that option as well. When you click on the check mark, it'll save everything you did and then populate it.
Okay, ready? Yes, thanks.
If we change it, no, let's play this. But this thing is fucking weird. Should we play it? No.
Yes.
So we're supposed to follow the same story?
I think she wants.
For example, so we're gonna because we can change that for the recording, it is.
Yeah, I don't think it has to be the same.
It's just customizing all the characters and renaming everybody.
Did you say?
How do you make so many?
Everybody getting the hang of it over here? Good.
If it's highlighted, you just press on it and hold it.
I'll take this, you just gotta get.
Add all your friends. Oh,
Oh, did she just kill him?
And I recorded.
You wanna go to bed? Started. Yeah, they said she couldn't go to Spanish Duolingo gym because she had to test it, and I don't know any Spanish. That's the whole point of sending her to a school to learn another language.
Mama, I need Spanish.
Or something.
Yeah. Just by the grandma. She said she just off the shelves, eggs, on the 168. There's actually. It says. Now you have to add, so you have to put that big giant puzzle piece. So you put the flag first. That. Okay, now you do the.
Add one.
You put five.
Another one?
And put the number 5. Okay. This part, we gotta put 0. Put 0 for like. Now ask. How to get this other piece.
It's huge. How did you make it?
And it is. Not on there.
Yes. That was too.
Oh, so miss my home. Oh, how do we stretch it?
It is too.
Oh my God.
You move it.
Inside here.
There's 2 things.
Tell her how.
This one. House.
Oh. So. Okay, you did it. And now we put the 2 stretchy pieces.
It's showing.
Put it around. And 2, okay? Then do it by yourself. I'm putting them back since you don't need help. Take ours. So this says, this has number 4 in it, huh?
Wait. Yes.
And everything goes inside. As I said. Okay, now you put the round things. I can't see. Okay, fine, I won't see.
I said that person is in addition. And this, I don't see anything.
These are ones.
Mira, ves, es igual.
I don't know. Oh, maybe each, oh, it says that all your friends, so you gotta drag kittens program. How do you drag kittens? Drag and drop kittens.
All right, before we move to our challenge cards that we've already passed out, does anybody want to share the program that they wrote with the group?
How do we drag and drop kittens?
How do I drag it?
Este muy bueno de la. I have more pictures. So you don't step back. I don't know. I needed more pictures. I'm just going to play. That's
So on the screen, you're gonna see the code that is written. So you've got a cat and a basketball. And if you press on the green flag, what does it do? What does our program do? Nice. So he programmed it to shoot a basket. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else want to share what they made? Yeah, no. Fine. Okay, that's okay. Thank you for sharing. And then a postcard.
Oh, you got the one?
You're taking it.
Really?
Are you naming it too?
You gotta name it.
Oh my.
I think the Jenny one.
What's going on?
Good.
Because.
You made a rate, you wanna show?
Oh, the same time.
Yeah. Pick my head up.
That's it.
Sorry, soon.
What do you want?
Like that.
More hours.
I thought you were changing it already. Car wash.
I mean, I think I'll help.
Is this?
I'm so.
Envelope opens.
Is that one copy on my?
Another mess.
So when you.
Oh my God, yeah, I got some for you.
Ready, set, go.
Sounds good.
Let's put this on. This one's slow.
Oh, yeah. I did H.
To the cat. It's a different cat.
Ready, set.
I can read.
Yeah, that.
Yes, so muy bien, como va a ser like I don't want to charge this.
What just like?
And I'm sure we need, like, really support people.
The big rock.
You wouldn't do it like a stationary.
I was just trying to save this, but if she can get the laptop, then that'd be great.
So in a couple of minutes, we'll start sharing our programs that have been on the screen. So he's doing right now, and then we'll go here, and then we'll go to basketball, and then look at the vacation. So you know, we share.
Where'd that come from?
And then I'll give you one. And he's like, no, then I just should watch time. Are you okay with sharing first? Yeah, okay.
See, look there. I just, I'm calling you, mommy. I just found. I wanna see what they can make.
Alright, so we're gonna start sharing the programs that were written here. We're gonna start with our friend who's already connected. We'll move along the table, we'll go to this table, and then we'll go to the back table. Does that sound good? Alright, and I'm just gonna stand close to you so we can get, the audio. So over here with our friend, we have the challenge was run for the finish line. Oh, could you tell us what the orange tile? Because maybe you wasn't use that. What is the orange tile do?
It's fast.
Yeah, it makes it go fast. Okay,
So you wanna play?
so go ahead and run your program.
So we have. You know what you did?
So what did you do? Did you have to do something to make a race? What did you have to do? Did you have to add characters? Yeah, and then the one that's orange lets you do something that's slow, medium, and fast. So who's the winner in the race? Did you program the winner to be? The black one? No.
The black one.
The black one is the fastest one, and which one's the slowest one? The red one is the slowest one? Nice.
And what did the cat? What's wrong with the cat? But it's the referee.
The cat is the referee, he's watching the race. Nice, and they're racing on a sand on the beach. Very nice. Thank you for sharing. All right, our friends over here want to share?
Yeah.
All right. Our friend here, she was just exploring, so we're going to see what she was creating.
Well, what is that? I gotta change. It turned off.
Here we go. Wow, what were you making here? What are you making?
I was finding in CD, and I was finding something like that.
You were buying some food. And you're about to go in your car, or did you get out of your car? Not sure yet. Okay, what are you gonna buy at the store? Milk. Yeah. Is it for breakfast? Yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
Get my chocolate milk.
So is your character, is that you? You're gonna be a different character? Okay, thank you for sharing. You ready to share? Oh, we're changing our card to pink. 2.16. All right, our other friend had a, pass the soccer ball. Pass the soccer ball was a challenge. Okay, ready to run it? What happens if you hit the green flag? Nice. Very good. So what did you have to program? You had to program the person, and did you have to program the soccer ball? Can you show us what the soccer ball looks like? There you go. So the soccer ball is interacting with another character. That was the yellow one you used. And then it stops. Okay. Thank you. All right, let's go each year. Are you guys ready to share?
Are you sure you're?
Okay. And you had one that was called AD with penguin. Okay. So it's the kitten has a play date with the penguin, and they're gonna talk to each other. Yes. Very good. So you have two characters. What else did you do? How did you do this part? And the cat? How can you make them talk to each other? Yeah, that's right. Should get add some sound. Are you gonna record their voice? No? You could also let them talk to each other. Um, Make little captions. See how it says hi? And you can change what they say right in there and type something else. Hi kitty or hi cat. And then when you open it, you'll say hi cat. All right, awesome. All right, next are gonna be here. And is this the one go to school? Okay, so let's share yours. So the challenge was go to school. Kitten made it to school. Let's program Kitten to walk into the school building. There's. Okay, here we go. Maybe do it one more time because it was looking. Very good. It's not screencasting the motion, but there it goes. He's walking. And how did you make him disappear in the building? Oh. So you use the pink buttons and it makes the character shrink. Go smaller, go larger to smaller. It's kind of hard to see there, but yeah, there it goes. You can see it. And it looks like he disappears inside the. Very cool. All right, let's go back here. We have wake up the kitten. So.
I want to play
Go ahead and start it. Yes, so we have our kitten. How's it going? Very good. You guys see how the little caption? Can you play it one more time?
Yeah. As you can tell, he's very excited to start his day. He does a flip.
Yep.
And then he says, let's have a great day.
Great. How did you make him do a flip?
I just did a bunch of turns to the left.
So it took how many turns to get him back upright?
Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he does 12 turns to do a complete spin.
Yes.
All right. And again, we're using that pink button to just do the captions. Thank you. All right, and our last challenge was show and tell. So, share screen. So the challenge was to, program the rabbit to disappear and reappear. Nice, you can add some applause. So Opie, here is our cat. And that's the program for the cat at the bottom. And then you can see that when it clicks on the rabbit, it changes to the program that was written for the rabbit. So you use the shrinking button too, don't you? Or? No, you didn't. You just made it disappear, like go away.
Yeah, I just played with the cell phone.
Oh, okay, I'm playing with the sound. So different ways to make something appear and reappear. And you added the outfit. All right, so thank you for sharing. Was there anybody on the hybrid that was able to do the code on Padlet that would like to share? No pressure. All right, so I think there's a lot of ways that we've explored coding and robotics and how we can introduce young kids and then also have some challenging pieces. Scratch Junior is an app that works on a device that you can download. And the next level would be something that's just called Scratch. And that allows kids to continue their learning to a more complicated environment. Scratch has a lot more programs, and it also allows you to program devices outside of that environment. So you can write code that you could use for robots that are in real life. So it also has different components to code lights, like LED lights, or like I said, robots, motors. It allows the kid to continue that learning far beyond that, and it's completely free. The only thing on Scratch, it is a website. So you go to the website and you use it there. I'm not sure if you can download it. I know you used to be able to, but I'm not sure if you still can. But yeah, were there any questions that anyone has around the different pieces of exploration we did today? I wanted to be able to open that up. If not, we'll just go ahead and close, but I'm really grateful that you guys were here today and that you were able to just explore with us and those who are online. Yeah, we do have our attendance certificate, so if you're an educator and would like some hours for your attendance today, please feel free to follow that link and fill the form out, and we'll get back to you on that. We're excited. Oh, yes, question.
Just wanted to say, I was able to download the Scratch Junior app on the App Store.
On the App Store? Okay, great. Thank you. We're excited that next year we'll be offering a new menu of play shops for people to join us. And again, extend the invitation for our community and our educators to come here for free to collaborate with us, to learn something new that you can take back to your own children or to the children that you serve in our community. So thank you again for attending today, and we'll close up and let everyone kind of have some time to just, if you still want to stay around and explore, you're more free to do that. But we'll just go ahead and close the session for those joining online. Thank you.